word to wise. Grass only greener when it's fertilized. Gave them truth in these songs, they prefer to lies. Destiny beautiful, adrift in her purple lies. You can't see me, you Stevie. Wondering how I reach more evolutions than Evie and make it look easy.
What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's Ernie, Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. All right, today's video, we're gonna be talking about Marauders number 23 by Jerry Duggan and Ivan Fiorelli. And in this video, we are going to learn exactly what is the fallout from the Krakoan medicines that have been largely left in short supply across the globe, and with multiple different countries cutting off their ties from Krakoa. How is this affecting the rest of the human population who heavily relies on said drugs? More importantly, we're also gonna learn what is gonna be the fallout from the Stepford Cuckoos helping the Hominis Verendi member, Wilhelmina Kensington, in her newfound quest to, for all intents and purposes, avenge the predatory behavior that was wreaked upon her by her own father, and just as important, why people need to stop disrespecting characters like Jumbo Carnation, and why the character Tempo might just be joining the Marauders sooner rather than later. We're gonna talk about all this and more right now, but first, if you want to see more awesome videos like this one, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoy the video, I humbly ask that you Hulk smash that like button, because it really helps the channel out. Anyways, all of that said, let's talk about Marauders number 23. First and foremost, what I want to talk about in this is going to be how the Krakoan drugs, the shortage of supply of Krakoan drugs, is affecting the human population. It's affecting them very badly. Even though there's people out there who don't give a about mutants, there's people out there who literally couldn't care less about them and probably wish they all died in a grease fire. People still need those drugs and rely on them. They have loved ones who are sick. They are sick themselves. They're trying to survive. And even though, yes, the politics of all this is incredibly damning for a lot of the people involved in all this, they still need what they need. And with those drugs in short supply, it's leading to people turning to criminal means in order to get them. And that's kind of where this book kicks off. This is why when Banshee reaches out to Emma Frost, which is that old blast from the past connection from yesteryear, the 90s and Generation X, Emma is quick to respond because, well, for one, her livelihood is on the line, and more importantly, an old friend needs her help. And Banshee, while he's good in a fight, he can handle his own, he can't really handle a whole squad of these newly updated Reavers that the Hominis Verendi have been putting into circulation. At least not by himself. And this is kind of how we wind up with Emma Frost, Jumbo Carnation, Kate Pride, and the character Tempo all coming together and helping Banshee in this tough spot. Once again, the people who are involved in all this, they are, for all intents and purposes, at least on one side of things, you see at least one particular individual who says he needs this for his Nana, that it's the only thing that's going to keep her alive is these Krakoan drugs. So he wants them, and the other people are probably in similar situations, while as these other guys seem like they are probably going to use them for unscrupulous means or try to resell them on the black market somehow. But at the end of it all, the Reavers are the ones who are actually escalating the situation by threatening to blow up the entire facility with everyone in it should they deign to stick around. Jumbo Carnation and Kate Pride are more than capable of backing up Banshee in a fight against a bunch of these, newfangled Reavers. Their power sets are incredibly useful towards this, and this is kind of why I brought up the whole idea people need to start putting respect on Jumbo Carnation's name. Jumbo Carnation is not just one of the poster children for the LGBTQ element in the X-Men corner of the Marvel Comics universe. Jumbo Carnation is also not just the fashionista, this incredible mind in the world of fashion that everybody goes to, especially when there's a Hellfire Gala that's coming up. No, Jumbo Carnation is a lot more than that. And I think a lot of times people forget what Jumbo Carnation's powers even really are. And this comic actually does a really good job of reminding people exactly what Jumbo Carnation's abilities actually are. You would see the 4 arms and you would probably immediately think that Jumbo Carnation has superhuman strength. It's actually not exactly the case. Jumbo Carnation's mutation is not just the 4 arms. While he is in fact incredibly strong as a result of those arms, his power is actually lent more to the fact that he has Teflon skin, something that is even called out in this specific issue. They have Teflon skin, and while that Teflon skin is technically a really hard, dense, plastic-like substance, it basically renders him immune to pretty much any kind of temperature, like extreme, hot, cold, or otherwise, and more importantly, makes him incredibly durable and also lends itself to giving him the appearance of having superhuman strength when he's going toe-to-toe with people who may or may not be just as tough or tougher than they are. All in all, the bomb that's in play, this is something that kind of falls into Tempo's wheelhouse. Some of you may remember, especially if you watched the video I did about Tempo, and if you haven't, please, by all means, go do that. You'll learn a lot. Tempo is a character who has the ability to basically slow down or speed up time in a reasonable range of herself. She actually uses this ability to slow down the bomb, basically making it to where this bomb that initially started with 29 seconds on the clock, and by the time they reach it, it's starting to get down to the wire. But Tempo is actually able to make each of those seconds last an entire minute. But this actually comes at incredible strain because she's basically just completely warping and distorting the laws of physics and reality around her at this moment. It's incredibly amazing to look at. But one of the other things that's brought up in this is her time with the MLF, which, if you don't know what that is, that's the Mutant Liberation Front. And when Tempo was originally introduced into the X-Men's corner of the Marvel Comics universe, she was a bad guy. She was a part of the MLF, and the MLF often pulled off terrorist acts against humanity. And one of the things that they used to do, one of their hallmarks, was planting bombs. And if Tempo was to die here, Tempo even talks about the fact that this would actually be a fitting death, that if she were to die here because of all the things that she's done in the past, the bombs that they planted, it would actually be kind of apropos that a bomb is what killed her. But that's not the case. This comic is basically a case study in why Tempo probably should have been elected to the X-Men. It's something that's even brought up at the very beginning of this comic. The opening quote comes from Cyclops saying that no knock on the whiskey, but Heather Tucker has more to give than aging the cask at Port Genosha. She's got a hell of a mutant gift and should start honing it under pressure out in the world. She wasn't elected to the X-Men this year, but that doesn't mean it's not time for Tempo. Now, of course, this is a quote from Cyclops. However, this is also Jerry Duggan's own words. I've actually seen Jerry Duggan on Twitter go on about how he actually voted for Tempo to be on his X-Men squad. But because this was an elected job, and also because it was fan voting that elected the final member of the group, he couldn't pick Tempo because she was put into the voting pool. And because she was put into the voting pool, his desire to have her on the team became null and void, in that he used his own vote to vote for her. And he's even gone on to say that, yeah, she didn't win this year, but that doesn't mean that when they hold the vote next year, she won't get a chance, and that she should get a chance to be on the team. And yeah, Duggan has actually gone out of his way to showcase Tempo as much as he humanly possibly can without completely shutting down and putting the entire story of whatever it is he's writing to a complete and total halt. Even in X-Men #1, he brings up how Tempo helped create the new treehouse that the X-Men now use as their base of operations. He's even brought her up in multiple occasions throughout Marauders and even in the Hellfire Gala itself. A lot of people want to believe that he's short-shifting Tempo, but that's actually quite the opposite. He's trying to get her in front of as many readers' eyes as humanly possible, as much as the story will allow him to do so that people become familiar with her and actually want her to be in something. And I can't applaud that anymore if I try. Even to the point that when Tempo, doing exactly what Cyclops suggested, using her powers under pressure out in the field in stressful situations, which is exactly what she's doing, slowing this bomb down to a crawl until everybody can be evacuated out of the vicinity of the bomb's reach, which is not just the people who came to steal the drugs, but there's an entire neighborhood of people who will die if this bomb goes off. And Tempo is able to hold off the bomb long enough that everyone is able to get to safety, and the only people in the vicinity of the bomb are Tempo and Kate Pryde, with Kate using her phasing abilities to render both herself and Tempo completely intangible, thus negating the bomb's effect on either of them. Even with that, Kate Pryde even takes a moment to recognize that Tempo is a powerful mutant and that her gifts should be with the Marauders. If not the X-Men, why not the Marauders? And honestly, I kind of feel like this is Jerry Duggan's way of saying, yeah, I'm gonna get Tempo on a team one way or another. And even though Tempo says technically, yeah, this is the type of stuff you guys do on a regular daily basis, yeah, you can count me out. But Kate even says that, yeah, I'm not gonna leave this offer on the table forever. And Tempo even jokingly replies that, yeah, I didn't say definitely no. It's a really cool moment and kind of lets us know that, yeah, Jerry Duggan hears you. He hears the fans. He's listening. Give the guy a damn break. He's trying to get Tempo out there. And honestly, he's doing more for Tempo than any other writer has probably done for Tempo in her entire publication history. Honestly, I kind of feel like Jerry Duggan is in the same wheelhouse as writers like Al Ewing. And I would even say Leah Williams, who both of these writers who are, by the way, let me go ahead and point this out there, are whole ass white people. They are doing more at Marvel to try and get these characters of color, these black and brown characters in the forefront in some kind of a meaningful way, shape, form, or fashion than any other white writer has probably ever attempted to. We typically only see this kind of representation for characters like this when people of color, black and brown people, are at the helm writing these stories. But yeah, I gotta tip my hat to him. Leah Williams did a great job showcasing Prodigy in X Factor, as well as Al Ewing, who has done an amazing job showcasing black characters across all of his comics. Not only just creating a whole ass new black character for the Immortal Hulk run, but also for what he did for the Ultimates, showcasing Black Panther, America Chavez, Blue Marvel, Monica Rambeau, whole ass black and brown people of color on that team more than any other demographic, and then even going far as to, in his Mighty Avengers run, basically creating an all black Avengers team. Come on now, you gotta give these people some credit. They're actually trying. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. The last thing I kind of want to talk about is what's going on with Wilhelmina Kensington. There's not really a whole lot to say here, so I'll just keep it brief. Wilhelmina Kensington, she gets revenge on her father. The Stepford Cuckoos basically out him as a child molester, using their telepathic abilities to implant the idea that he is to everyone in the neighborhood. Everyone now knows, and the Stepford Cuckoos even bring up the fact that no one will know why they know. They just know that they know. And Wilhelmina Kensington is going to do to her father what she supposedly did to her own mother, and she kicks him out of a window to his death. The other interesting thing that I found in this is how Wilhelmina Kensington responds in the wake of her realizing that she no longer has this cross to bear. She leaves the Hominis Verendi. And she is actually one of their staunchest members. She is literally on the board. She is literally one of the more recognizable pieces to the puzzle. And now it kind of makes us realize what the Stepford Cuckoo's plans were from the very beginning. And I think this is not the end. They basically gave Wilhelmina Kensington purpose and helped her realize that there was more to life than hate, especially hating others for their successes, something she actually tells Cade Kilgore when he tries to stop her, kicking him in the nuts and then walking away, even going as far as to tell him that he shouldn't give his life to this hateful cause and that hating other people because their success isn't a life worth living in, that she's going to build her own way and that he should never try and contact her ever again. And I think this is actually a really cool moment, and I think this might be the blueprint for how the Stepford Cuckoos, as well as Krakoa itself, are going to destabilize the Hominis Verendi by giving them purpose, by helping them understand that what it is that they're doing isn't right. And even if they don't go the same route as they did with Wilhelmina Kensington, I think what they're ultimately going to wind up doing is they are going to, in all likelihood, probably find out what it is exactly that motivates each member of the Hominis Verendi to be the way they are, to do the things they do, and then take that away from them. Whether it's in a nice way or a wrong way. In Wilhelmina Kensington's case, it was kind of in a nice way, even though technically they traumatized the hell out of her by making her understand and recognize all the pain that she's caused people. But why not? If you could do that to someone and save an entire group of people, would you or would you not do it? Anyway, this comic was amazing. I loved what it set up. This basically kind of gave us a lot to chew on. And yes, I know there's an excerpt at the back of the book about some novel, some smut novel that Pyro is writing. That's all well and good, but until it actually has any real meaning for anything, I can't say anything about it that would matter to anyone. All that aside, if you enjoyed this video, Hulk smash that like button and make sure to share this video all over the internet with all your friends so they'll know how you leveled up your comic book big brain in regards to the X-Men comic Marauders. On your way out, make sure to hit that subscribe button and let me know what you thought about Marauders number 23. Keep it plus ultra and sound off in the comments.